Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. The political fallout of the India-China clash at Tawang last week is continuing. Not only has the opposition walked out from Parliament most of the days this week, now for the very first time Rahul Gandhi has reacted. But the words he used were not particularly thoughtful, neither were they thought out. He said, "Hamari army pit rahi hai," meaning our army is getting thrashed at the line of actual control, which is neither accurate nor is it particularly charitable to the army. Rahul Gandhi, of course, is well within his right to attack the government. He is an opposition leader. It's his job to attack the government. But why berate the Indian army? That's the question we're asking tonight on Brass Tacks. But first, the story.
जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं.
Days after the skirmish between Indian and Chinese troops in Arunachal Pradesh, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi accused the centre of sleeping as China prepares for war.
मुझे जो दिख रहा है, जो चाइना का थ्रेट है, और मुझे तो वो क्लियर, और मैं इसको अब 2-3 सालों से कह रहा हूं, वो बिल्कुल क्लियर है. और सरकार उसको छुपाने की कोशिश कर रही है, सरकार उसको इग्नोर कर रही है.
It's not the first time that Rahul Gandhi has targeted the Modi government over China.
उनका पूरा प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है. उनका लद्दाख की साइड और अरुणाचल की साइड पूरा ऑफेंसिव प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है. हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सोई हुई है.
The BJP accused Rahul Gandhi of insulting our forces.
ये भारत की सुरक्षा को लेकर जब बात करते हैं तो उसमें कई बातें वो आपत्तिजनक कर देते हैं, जिससे न केवल सैनिकों का हौसला खराब होता है बल्कि पूरे देश के अंदर भ्रम फैलाते हैं, गलत अफवाह फैलाने की बात करते हैं.
More than 300 Chinese soldiers had tried to capture the icy heights at 17,000 feet near Tawang on the 9th of December. But their attempts were successfully thwarted by our forces.
भारतीय सेना ने बहादुरी से पीएलए को हमारी टेरिटरी में अतिक्रमण करने से रोका और उन्हें उनकी पोस्ट पर वापस जाने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया. अध्यक्ष महोदय, दोनों ओर के कुछ सैनिकों को चोटें भी आई हैं. किसी भी सैनिक की न तो मृत्यु हुई है और न ही कोई गंभीर रूप से घायल हुआ है.
Through the week, the issue has rocked the parliament, with opposition parties, including the Congress, accusing the government of hiding facts. Congress's criticism was countered by the Home Minister.
कांग्रेस सरकार ने चीन की धमकी के बाद हमारे रोड और वाइटल बॉर्डर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स का निर्माण डैम चौक में रोक दिया. ये दोगला रवैया जनता के सामने नहीं चलता है. जनता सब देख रही है कि राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को 2005-6 और 2006-07 के वित्तीय साल में चीनी दूतावास से 1,35 लाख रुपए का अनुदान प्राप्त हुआ.
So by targeting the centre over China, is Rahul Gandhi undermining national security for political points?
All right, is Rahul Gandhi undermining national security for scoring political brownie points? Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us this evening. Dr. Sharma Mohammed is Congress National Party spokesperson. Lieutenant General retired Rakesh Sharma, Distinguished Fellow at Clause and VIF. Arun Anand, Consulting Editor with First Post. Sumansi Raman, Political Analyst, and also will be joined by Shazia Ilmi of the BJP. Sharma Mohammed, let me start with you first. Surely, no, it's no one's case that Rahul Gandhi cannot attack the government or its China policy. But the fact is, the words he used, "Hamare jawan wahan peet rahe hain," is not exactly A, accurate, because that's not what is happening on the ground, and B, it's not charitable to the army. You know, why should the leader of the Congress party drag in the army in a not particularly flattering or charitable way only to score a political point against this government? Attack the government by all means, but why bring in the army? Why attack the army? Why berate them? Why run them down? Shama Mohammed, that question is to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have the audio before. Okay, first and foremost, I didn't hear your first part of the question because I just got it. I heard you saying that Rahul Gandhi has attacked the army. I mean, I'm sorry to say, what sort of nonsense are you coming and telling? You're a senior journalist. He just said that there is going to be a war if the PM doesn't do anything about it, because we are not briefed. Nobody knows what is happening there. Let me tell you what has happened now.
Can I play
Since
for you what
1964,
what exactly your leader
fights.
said? Shama, once again, you can use words like
I have
nonsense and all
heard-
that.
I
will play it for you once again.
I have heard
and
what
I don't
Rahul
know.
Gandhi said.
I don't know if it is because you don't understand Hindi or whatever it is, but he said, "हमारे जवानों को
No,
वहाँ
maybe you
पीट
don't
रहे
understand
हैं."
Hindi.
What does that mean? Our jawans are getting thrashed there. What does that mean?
So, what he meant is peet rahe hain means our jawans have got attacked. Okay, and that is the truth. Now, if Razaka, you have to let me speak. All right, if you're going to attack my leader, I have to tell you what he said. Unless you allow me to speak, I cannot tell you what he said.
Okay.
So, what has happened in 2020? Our soldiers were attacked. And what is you are saying Rahul Gandhi is insulting. What did the Prime Minister say? Na koi gussa hai, koi military post nahi le. Nobody has entered this place and no military post was taken when our soldiers were martyred. So that itself is an insult to the army. So that is not an insult for you. But when Rahul Gandhi says Pita hai, means they have hit our soldiers. They have come and attacked physically. So don't, misquote Rahul Gandhi.
One second. No. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and take this at the word that you used, quote unquote, nonsense. I'm going to play that bite again. And I'm going to leave it to the viewers to judge what Rahul Gandhi said. Like I said, I have no issues. Nobody has any issues with Mr. Gandhi going full throttle against Mr. Modi, attacking him morning, noon and night. No problem with that. But in doing that, he's also run down the Indian army. Let's play out that bite and then I'll come back to you, Dr. Shama Mohammed.
He has not.
One second, let me play out that bite.
जिन्होंने 2000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर हिंदुस्तान का उठा लिया, जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के 20 जवानों को शहीद किया, जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं, मैंने कहा हिंदुस्तान की प्रेस मुझसे इनके बारे में एक सवाल नहीं पूछेगी। जो चाइना का थ्रेट है और मुझे तो वो क्लियर, और मैं इसको अब 2-3 सालों से कह रहा हूं, वो बिल्कुल क्लियर है और सरकार उसको छुपाने की कोशिश कर रही है, सरकार उसको इग्नोर कर रही है, मगर उस थ्रेट को ना छुपाया जा सकेगा और ना इग्नोर किया जा सकेगा। उनका पूरा प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है, उनका लद्दाख की साइड और अरुणाचल की साइड पूरा ऑफेंसिव प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है। हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सोई हुई है।
What does this mean? हमारे जवानों को जो पीट रहे हैं, meaning our army is getting thrashed,
so
right? Isn't that what he said?
So no, that's not what he said. Please don't do that. It's very wrong when you're not listening to the spokesperson of the party. I represent him. I represent the party. What he meant is that they are being physically attacked, and that is the truth. Now, just like you say, you can't misquote someone. So when Narendra Modi said nobody came in and our martyrs died, then what did they die for? If nobody, he's emboldened China. He's using the same words of what the Chinese have said. Then no, we have not gone into India. That is the reason China is emboldened. Let's not forget what the Pentagon has said.
Okay.
Pentagon clearly said there are Chinese inside the Arunachal villages. They are taken. This is not my saying. Tapir Gao, the member of parliament, said Chinese are 50 to 60 kilometers, member of parliament of the BJP. The Chinese are 50 to 60 kilometers inside Arunachal. This is not what I'm saying or Rahul Gandhi is saying.
Okay, let me ask Shazia Elmi. So if Shazia Elmi, if what Rahul Gandhi said today कि हमारे जवान वहाँ पीट रहे हैं, if that is been misquoted, and if people are having a problem with that, people should have an equal problem with what the Prime Minister said during Galwan, ना कोई गुस्सा है, ना कोई बैठा है. That was incorrect as well, because if किसी ने गुस्सा नहीं है तो किस चीज के लिए हमारे जवान मरे वहाँ पे गलवान में?
So I think Rahul Gandhi has done it again. He has not just embarrassed himself, but he has really humiliated our troops, and also, as always, been inaccurate and disdainful of India and its institutions. I don't know, as hard as Shama Mohammed might try, the fact of the matter is we all heard it loud and clear that he talks about or insinuates that our jawans are getting thrashed. Not just that. I mean, not only is hugely inaccurate, because there has been a statement of the Raksha Mantri in the parliament outlining exactly what has happened there, But a video which is a new video which is there doing the rounds, showing this has not happened. And not just that, going further than that, he also gives advice to our foreign minister, if you please, and says he lacks depth. Now that's extremely rich coming from the Shehzada or the prince of a party which has not just signed secret MOUs, pledging heaven knows what to with the Communist Party of China, have ceded 38,000 square kilometers of land during its charge when they were on the watch during, and I have
Okay.
yet to, I will not try comparing. I will not even try comparing
Can I speak now?
to this. But Rahul Gandhi uttering कि हमारे जवानों को मारा है, पीटा है, and them giving some other meaning to the word. We all understand Hindi perfectly. Some of us might not, but we know exactly what was meant. So I think somewhere Rahul Gandhi must do himself a favor.
Let me go to the other guests, please. I'll come back to the political spokespersons in a second. I want to go to Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma first. Beyond these semantics of what Rahul Gandhi said or whether he was quoted, misquoted, forget about all of that. I think the larger point, which the opposition has also been trying to raise in Parliament and outside, General Sharma, is, look, there is a pattern to what the Chinese are doing. They've done it in Galwan, they're doing it in Tawang, and God knows they will do it in other places along the line of actual control. The government, by keeping Parliament in the dark or by not letting the opposition know, is it deliberately not allowing this issue to come to the public domain so that the people of this country know what exactly is happening at the line of actual control, so that we have a debate and a discussion to find out what is going to be our strategy to respond to this? Because right now, and you're a soldier, I mean, this kind of images that you're seeing, again, this image is not from Tawang 2022. We're given to understand this is from 2021. But soldiers carrying sticks and clubs and barbed wires and hitting each other, I mean, this is not soldiering. I mean, this is abnormal.
Thank you, Zaka, for inviting me. Now, let me put 3-4 issues in perspective. First is that China is a threat, is well known to us in the armed forces and the government. And the Chinese preparations that they are on in Tibet and in Xinjiang, in matters of infrastructure or basing of troops forward or carrying out works in the airfields and heliports, etc., is well known to us, and it is well chronicled and written down. In the course of, in the response to that, our own preparations are at a feverish pace. I have been there for last 30-40 years in those areas. The amount of work being done in the course of last 5 to 6 years is astronomical. I mean, you can't imagine the kind of work, the tunnels being made and the roads and the troops being placed there, the artillery, the guns, the missiles. So the works is on. That behind us. Now, in last 10 odd years, these have been scuffles and fisticuffs which have been on. This started about 2010 or so, and these are scuffles and fisticuffs have been on and on and on and on. Okay. And each one of these fisticuffs and gutham gutha ki ladai, there are people who get injured, they get hurt both sides, and they are brought across. It's not happening the first time. In the course of last 3 years, which is when we start from Eastern Ladakh and now the latest incident at Yangtze, this gutham gutha ki ladai has become of a larger number of people. In Yangtze, they say 300 people. That's the media reports which have come out. Yeah. 300 is like a battalion strength brought across to an area. And the Indian troops were there. They were prepared at that time to waiting for these people to come back and to fight it out at Gutham Gutha ki ladai. And I assure you that your point is genuine about the barbed wires and the dandas and the sticks being carried across there, but the rules of engagement have also been suitably amended, and the armed forces would have deployed themselves in a manner to escalate in a form that they would be the artillery or the guns would have been deployed in a manner to open up if required, if it had escalated that manner. Okay. So it is what kind of operations on at that time has to be taken at by the commander on the ground. Sure. So while sitting here in a studio, we can be judgmental about as to what these troops are doing is absolutely incorrect. In fact, I would say, and I'll end here, that the troops across and Yangtze, salutations to them. They discharged them, they functioned honorably, forcefully, and they were able to succeed in a very preponderance of PLA troops that were brought across into the ridge line, the small little ridge line. I think we need to salute those people, troops out there in the most inhospitable terrain.
No, so the point I was trying to make was, I think this pattern that the Chinese are adopting is clearly to circumvent the 93 agreement, the 96 agreement, which says that shots can't be fired. And of course, the 93 agreement was born from the previous incident that happened, which was in Samudrong-Chu. But I want to ask Arun Anand, leaving aside, the specifics of what happened, the political sort of tu-tu-me-me that's going on between BJP and Congress and BJP and the rest of the opposition, we've seen what happened in Parliament today. Why can't we have, all of us agree that China is going to be the single biggest security threat for India going forward? We may have a Pakistan obsession in this country, but I think, frankly, we are well past that Pakistan obsession. As far as the China threat is concerned, and as General Sharma was saying, this has been going on from 2010-11 or so. So it's not like in the UPA years there were no fisticuffs. Of course there was, Depsang and Nimchok and so on. But why can't we have a bipartisan national consensus in this country on this single biggest threat? You look at the United States, the Republicans and the Democrats are pretty much on common ground when it comes to the China threat. They are more or less on common ground when it comes to, let's say, the Russia threat or the Russia-Ukraine war. Why can't we have a common ground in our polity on what is clearly our number one security threat?
Zaka, the key problem is basically that there is a structural issue with the Indian political parties. In most of the, as you gave example of United States and apart from that in other European countries also, most of the political parties have think tanks, basically, which work on specific issues, especially on the defense and strategic issues. Because we don't expect political leaders to have that kind of an in-depth knowledge. But in India, we do not have that culture of think tanks. We have a couple of think tanks like Congress has Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, BJP also has Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Foundation. The thing is that most of the time they focus on, they have very limited resources, or even whatever resources they have, most of the time they focus on political issues or some social issues. But there is a dearth of, lot of dearth of research in terms of for political parties when it comes to the, geopolitical issues or geostrategic issues or defense issues. So that's why most of the political parties, they often tend to, jump the gun, the political leadership. They don't know how to react, when to react. I think Rahul Gandhi should have waited for some, more time. And unfortunately, another thing which has happened is that over the last few years, earlier what used to happen that the opposition and the ruling party used to be on the same page when it used to be, any issue which related to the defense of the country. But increasingly, these issues have become more and more politicized, and the opposition seems to be jumping the gun at times.
Okay.
And having said that, I just want to finish with, भाषा जो है ना, उसका बड़ा हमें पत्रकारों के तौर पर भी बताया जाता है, और जो स्पोक्स पर्सन हैं, उनके लिए भी there is a humble submission to both the BJP and the Congress panelist कि 3 शब्दों पे मुझे आपत्ति है जो आप लोगों ने इस्तेमाल किया. एक तो जो नॉनसेंस शब्द का इस्तेमाल शुरू में किया गया. I don't think anybody should use that kind of a word in a polite and civilized debate, even if you disagree. दूसरा, जो शाजी अलमी जी ने इंटेंशन उनकी ठीक होगी, लेकिन उन्होंने जो ये बात कही कि Rahul Gandhi has humiliated the Indian army. Nobody has the capacity to humiliate. Yes, he has insulted, you can say. But I think when we talk about defense-related issues, we need to be very, very careful.
Okay. I think the moot point of what Arun Anand was saying, and I agree with him in part, Sumant Raman, is words matter. Choice of words matter. Rahul Gandhi, like I said, and I said this to Shama Mohammed, I said this at the top of the show, he could have gone all guns blazing. Mr. Modi is incompetent. Mr. Modi's China policy is flailing. That's why the Chinese are emboldened. All of that and more. But to say कि हमारे जवान पीट रहे हैं, I think A is like I said, not accurate to the reality on the ground. B, it is running down the Indian army, and most importantly, even politically speaking, it just backfired.
Zaka, it is a sad commentary of where we are that the most important debate that we are having on the Chinese incursions in various parts along the LAC is based on what Rahul Gandhi said. Rahul Gandhi is not the issue. What the Chinese army is doing near the LAC is the real issue. The people who should be answering questions are the government, not Rahul Gandhi. If Rahul Gandhi has said something, please, for all purposes, you are at liberty. The media is at liberty to castigate him forever. But that does not get back any territory that the Chinese may have moved into. That does not take away the gravity of what he said as far as China is preparing for something larger, because clearly, day before yesterday there was a satellite firm which put out photographs of 10 aircraft and 7 drones having been moved within 150 kilometers of the line of actual control in Arunachal. Look, we need to ask the government the difficult questions. This is not about questioning the military at all. I mean, every Indian stands 200% behind our government, behind our military. None of us have even an iota of doubt about their capabilities and the support that we give them. But the point is, the government needs to take into confidence the opposition. The opposition are not on the opposite side. They are on the same side as the government. And it's tragic here to see that, every time all the, anger is directed not at the Chinese, but at the opposition. And anybody who says, please tell us what's happening along the LAC, is immediately either he's colluding with the Chinese, he's anti-national, Rahul Gandhi, for instance, the visit to a food festival in a Delhi hotel to meet the Chinese ambassador or something, that was made as if it was something hugely anti-national. Please, Zaka, I mean, there must be a sense of proportion of this.
So here's
I would
the
have
thing.
appreciated it. I would have appreciated
here's
it
the thing.
If the media which asks Rahul Gandhi questions can also ask the government more important questions.
We have been doing that. The story broke on Monday, and if you watch the shows on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday,
no, please tell me, Zaka,
we have been asking the government and government spokespersons exactly this.
One question.
Tell us what is going on at the line of actual control.
And what has
exactly
been the answer?
Happened
what has been
in
the answer?
Tawang. So we are all referenced back to what? No, once again, what the defense minister said in Parliament.
About these satellite pictures? These are all on public domain.
No. So I'll ask Shazia Elmi that. I'll ask Shazia Elmi that because Rahul Gandhi's larger point is, and he said this twice or thrice today, that China is preparing for war. Now Sumant is saying there is a private satellite imaging company which has put out.
No, I'm not saying it.
It's there on Twitter and social media, that China is moving aircraft and other reinforcements very close to the border with Tawang. So please tell the country, is China preparing for a bigger war, as Rahul Gandhi seems to indicate, or was Tawang a one-off incident? Shazia.
I want to say two things. I know enough Hindi to know that what Rahul Gandhi meant when he says कि हमारे जवानों को पीटा जा रहा है, and I know enough English to tell the difference between insult and humiliate. I also know this much, that Indian army cannot be humiliated, but it doesn't take away from the fact that there are leaders in the opposition who do try and insult and humiliate, and this is not for the first time. And thank God for the tender mercies that we do not have to depend on either Sumant Ranganathan or Rahul Gandhi to get military intel or maps, surveillance or on geospatial imagery to know exactly as to what is happening at the borders and also what China is planning. So, spare us this talk, because instead of obfuscating the fact that Rahul Gandhi is totally out of his depth and has reduced himself to a sorry figure when it comes to extremely critical matters of sovereignty and security, the fact of the matter is that we not only at this point of time believe our government.
No, but Shazia, one second. Can I just say this? All we have had, Shazia, all we have had officially from government, on this, on record about this very, very important incident that happened in Tawang is a 530-word statement by the defense minister in Parliament. We have not heard a word on the record, either from the foreign minister or from the prime minister or from the MEA spokesperson. No. 500-word statement in Parliament. That's all this country deserves to know about what happened in Tawang?
So you think the defense minister's clear enunciation of what is exactly transpiring, the entire chain of events and what India is doing, and as a fact sheet presented is not good enough?
No, I'm not passing judgment. I'm asking you, is a 530-word statement in Parliament good enough for 1.3, 1.4 billion people to know that this is what happened in Tawang? If you think it's good enough, fair enough. I'm not going to play God unlike some other anchors. If you feel that's good enough, okay. Let's move on.
Zaka, we can't over each other.
I'm not.
To allow me.
Can I come in, Zaka?
One second, Shama, 1 second.
Can I come in?
Allow me.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying something exactly in reply to what you are saying, to what you're asking. But if you cut me short and ask the same question again, my response won't change. 1 and 2, reality won't change. 3, will end up missing all the airtime, which is very critical at this point of time for our viewers and for important questions such as this. Now, Raksha Mantri has not spelled it out, all out there saying exactly what is going on. The updates are for everybody to see. To expect the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, and then now you'll expect the Finance Minister, who actually did talk about the Chinese, the volume of trade between China and India, and the details of it there. We've seen Jaishankar ji's statement. We've seen the Foreign Ministry statement on what Bilawal Bhutto, the Pakistan Foreign Minister, said, and also on the fact that we have clear updates on what's happening, whether it's video footage or a actual statement in the Parliament. If that is not good enough...
I'm sorry, Shazia. I'm sorry I'm pressing this point.
Can I come in?
No, 1 second. Shama, I'll give you... give me 10 seconds. I'm sorry I'm pressing this point. But Shama, after this, the point is that all we've had on record is the statement of the Defence Minister. The video that's doing the rounds came out on social media. It is not a video of Tawang 2022. So to say that we have a video, therefore we should be happy, that is absolutely incorrect. Secondly, no, 1 second. I've heard very, very closely. I paid attention to everything that the Foreign Minister said in the UNSC. Nothing was said about the Tawang incident. Okay, on record, nothing was said about the Tawang incident. Let's be very, very clear. And most importantly, forget about TV anchors. Forget about Zaka Jacob. Parliament is in session, ma'am. You owe something to Parliament. That's all. That's my limited point. Anyway, let me go to Shama Mohammed. Shama Mohammed. No, 1 second. Shama Mohammed, the issue is not this. The issue is, and this is where I have a problem. The Congress party makes it out to be that Galwan and Tawang are the first times that this is happening on the line of actual control. No, ma'am. 2013. You go back to Depsang. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister. Mr. Shivshankar Menon was NSA.
I'm going to answer.
We had for a good month and a half Chinese troops camped out at Depsang. Were you telling Parliament? Were you telling the country what was going on? No, you were not. So you were doing just the same that the BJP was doing when you were in power.
Please? No, I don't agree on that. I don't agree.
Of course you won't, because you're the Congress spokesperson. Why would you agree?
Can I? Okay, now can I speak? Razaka, I waited for 20 minutes to speak. Please give me the time to speak. You're a good, decent senior anchor. Let me speak. Now, she kept on saying about what Rahul Gandhi's word, what he used. Okay, she continued. Now, let me ask those two gentlemen also. One military person is sitting. In 2017, General Kapoor, former army general, was accused of treason by Narendra Modi in the Gujarat before the Gujarat elections. He said General Kapoor helped our party to take off the BJP government from Gujarat and put in Ahmed Patel. And we were doing, General Kapoor was in cahoots with Pakistan. Can you imagine that? He accused former army general Kapoor of treason. Isn't that accusing the army of treason? And for that, nobody says anything. Number one. Number two, the gentleman, you also said, he was saying there have been scuffles since 2010. Now, scuffles is different when your soldiers are killed. 20 of the soldiers were martyred, were killed, were massacred by the Chinese. That's a completely different thing. And after that, we again have a physical attack on the 9th. And when was the parliament told about it, Shazia? On the 13th, sorry. Why was it not told on the 12th, Monday? She says that the government is supposed to just give statements. Yes, in 1962, we lost. We lost a war. But I am proud of Prime Minister Nehru because he came out and told the truth in Parliament. He debated it with every opposition leader. 32 statements and interventions. They debated from 1961 to 62, everything about it. He told the truth. Yes, I stand with Nehru. Yes, we lost a war. But yes, we, the Congress party, told the truth to the people. Tomorrow, this is a national security issue, like Suman says. Now, tomorrow there's an issue. We have to know how to prepare. It's not an issue about BJP, Congress. It's a national issue. It's about my soldiers.
General Sharma, let's leave the political spokespersons aside. Let's focus just on General Sharma. General Sharma, I agree that not everything can be put in the public domain. Obviously, these are military matters, national security. Not everything is for public consumption or should be put in the public domain. But the fact is that in a democracy, on an important issue like the number one security threat for us strategically, and this is going to be for the next 25, 30, 40 years, right? What is our national policy? What is our bipartisan policy to deal with this threat? And like I said, when this incident has happened, and this is the first time of such a scale, as you said, the scale has increased in the last 3 or 4 years. When such an incident of such a scale has happened, and Parliament is in session, shouldn't we, the people of India, know a little more than just 532 words?
Yeah, so I agree with you. Let me put it this way, that, one part of the statement was also that on 11th, there were talks held at the military level between with the representatives of the PLA. Now, immediately as the incident happens, and I commanded 14 Corps in Ladakh, and immediately an incident happens, the hotlines start burning. In the hotlines, you start negotiating with the opposite side that let's come together and talk. So these talks take place, till the time you get across to talking at that place and sort out the rough edges and bring some calm amount there. It would be premature to start telling everybody what's happening, because the operation can be said to be continuing till the time the two commanders meet at the place where this thing has happened.
Sure.
And then thereafter, of course, the position is sorted out and intimated. That's one part of the issue here. Second is that we ought to, the Standing Committee on Defense, which has got opposition and members of the ruling party, invariably hears all these things. I do remember when I was in service and the surgical strikes took place, the Standing Committee was briefed immediately thereafter by General Bipin Rawat, who was the Vice Chief at that time. So to say that the Parliament may not be briefed as Parliament, and could be briefed also, but then there are other agencies who are actually carrying this out. And yes, I also agree that the Chinese are in an expansionist mode and a revanchist mode for quite some time, and we are on the receiving end. We ought to be prepared, and we are preparing to that end. Now, that should be the national security strategy, which ought to come out as soon as possible, which should lay down as to how we will combat a huge threat that bears on our northern borders, which should come as part and parcel of the national security strategy.
Yeah, no, in fact, I think the United States, from time to time, they keep putting out these papers about, what are the immediate threats, what are the pressing threats, what are the long-term threats. I think there was one statement that just came out a few weeks ago, and they identified, which is quite surprising to many, that they identified China as the biggest long-term threat, not mentioning much about the Russia-Ukraine war. But I will give Arun Anand, and then after that, Sumant Raman, the final words. Arun Anand, the point simply is that we need to go beyond this Congress, BJP, tutu meme that's going on an issue that, consumes all of us. I mean, it's not just about the Jawans who are guarding our borders, and they're doing a fantastic job of it, no doubt about it. But this is as much a policy matter. You need an economic response. You need a political response. You need, a management response. You need, of course, the military response, but it has to be a holistic approach. I mean, there are people, again, in the opposition who are asking, yes, Galwan happened, and look at, in 2 years, how much our imports from China have gone up. Trade deficit is at, 70 billion, 90 billion? I'm not sure. I think 113, 115 billion is the trade.
$115 billion.
Once again, Shama, I know the figures. Yeah, Arun Anand.
Zakat. And 75 billion is the trade deficit.
Shama, your name is not Arun Anand. Let him answer, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Zakat, today's world, it's a very complex world. And geopolitical issues and geostrategic issues, they're not as simple as they look. For example, there are a lot of people, who are acting as hawks as far as China is concerned. So it's basically the West wants that India and China, certain countries in the West want that India and China should clash, because ultimately either one of them or both of them are going to, emerge as probably, one of the strongest poles in this multipolar world as we go ahead, and especially with the US power depleting down. So when the US stands by, India on the China issue, so we should not take it, on the face value. So these are very, very complex issues. And as I said earlier, now I think Indian democracy has matured enough that we need to, start cultivating this culture of, think tanks, and the members of parliament, the politicians, the budding politicians, they need to be trained specifically on this, the foreign affairs and the strategic issues. So I think this is the way forward.
All right.
But overall, there'll always be certain difference of opinion on these things. But I think it's lack of knowledge and lack of understanding, because of which people are speaking basically before they are thinking.
Okay, I'll give the final word to Sumant Raman. Sumant.
Zaka, I have only one little analogy to give. The man of the house goes out and there is a big bully whom he is not able to take on. So he then comes home and takes out his anger and frustration on his wife and children at home and beats them. I see some similarity here with the way the government has tried to portray the opposition as the villain, all of whom are constantly, in fact, the Prime Minister, even insinuated that Dr. Manmohan Singh was, conspiring against, with Pakistan and so on. You remember that, don't you, Zaka? So I think that attitude has to change. When it comes to the Chinese or Pakistan or any other such foreign threats to our country, the nation is one. The opposition is with the government.
All right.
They are supposed to question the government. That is their duty and their role.
Of course. Like I said, I started the show. I got to wrap up. Completely out of time. Zero. I said this right at the top. No one has a problem with Rahul Gandhi or any opposition leader questioning the government, berating the government for its China policy. Absolutely par for course. The problem was in the words that he used about the army, about the Jawans, which was, like I said, not only inaccurate, but more importantly, it was doing a great disservice to our Jawans and to our brave soldiers who've been fighting the Chinese threat. And most importantly, even from a political point of view, it is completely counterproductive and it has backfired. But we'll leave it at that. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, these are the news up until now, but right on the other side, you're going to hear a big news that we have for car owners.